Hi, my name is Paul Foster, and you are listening to Do Not Click.
Can you do that in Bahasa?
Wah, nama saya Paul Foster. Kamu mendengar?
Mendengarin?
Mendengarin, right?
Mendengarin. I don't know. I'm not a Bahasa guy. I know that sometimes they have the rin.
Yes.
But it's very interesting to see someone such as yourself who can speak a bit of Bahasa. You are so programmed to seeing only Malay people speaking Malay and Chinese people speaking Chinese. So once you see that small transition, it's like, wow, it's very interesting.
I think you're kind of semi-right, but I think also being in Singapore, especially the older generation way, especially the kampong days, like everyone learned so many different languages.
Mm-hmm.
They spoke so many different languages. And if you take Singlish, for example, it's like English mixed with a little bit of like Chinese, Malay, Indian, and it's super like rojak. So I think in Singapore, you might say that by looks, when you see someone, you're like, ooh, okay, maybe they only speak English or they speak only Malay or whatever. But like you said, when you see me, you're not expecting me to bust out some Bahasa.
Yeah. But do you people get surprised? Because like they get confused because what are you actually? You can speak Bahasa, you can speak English, you can speak a bit of Chinese.
I guess so, but I guess at the same token, so look, I'm half Chinese, I'm half English, and born and bred right here in Singapore. So I am Singaporean. I learned Malay for 2 years in school. My mom is Peranakan, so her side of the family also speak Bahasa, and it's Singapore's national language. So I guess growing up here, I also just picked up a few more things. And growing up out in the north, when I was in Yio Chu Kang, and I'm a Seletar boy in that sense. I had a lot of local friends and played national rugby. And I was very fortunate that I was able to learn a lot of different things. Yeah, different. Just again, Singlish and little bits of every dialect and language and whatnot. And I mean, I'm not 100% proficient and fluent in any of them, but I do.
You can hold your own.
Yeah, I can understand a little bit here and there, depending on the
you can order a drink,
subject or the context, and I can.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to Bintan tomorrow, so it's gonna help you.
That's true. So that always helps. Well, also because I worked in Indonesia for a while, I filmed a movie over there and a short film over there, and my character was supposed to be an Indonesian guy, like a bule, half setengah, but I had left to grow up in England, and I came back, so my character was Indonesian but English.
Yeah, hybrid.
So I had to learn a lot of Indonesian in my time there as well for that particular role, and it was great.
When I was doing a research on you, I typed Paul Foster on Google.
Yep.
So immediately I saw like Forbes and all that. Then I was like wondering, this guy really got so successful. Then it turns out that there's actually a billionaire called Paul Foster. I don't know whether are you aware of this billionaire called Paul Foster?
No, I didn't know that, but there are a lot of Paul Fosters in the world.
Yeah.
My name is actually quite common.
Yeah,
yes,
that's right.
Yes.
Which is why your Instagram is like 3R at the end, because like maybe somebody else took the Paul Foster.
Yeah, I think actually I might have had the first Paul Foster Twitter when I was in Indonesia doing the film. They set up an account for me, but for some reason then that account got just like disabled as well, so that name was gone. And because I wanted to make sure that my Twitter and Instagram was the same name, I just found Paul Foster with the 3 R's at the end to be, I guess, the easiest and closest to my name itself. Yeah, just something easy, because I just say it's my name, but just add a couple more R's to the end.
Alright, considering your origin and your race, do you find yourself being pigeonholed to a certain character every time you're like, you're the Ang Mo guy?
Good question. I mean, for Singapore, to a certain extent, yes, because there are still people here who don't know I'm Singaporean.
Yeah.
There are certain people here who don't believe I'm Singaporean because, like you said, all they see is the Ang Mo guy. But that's kind of been my blessing and curse in a way, because over here in Asia,
you're exotic
I'm Caucasian.
Caucasian. Yeah.
I'm the expat. I'm the Ang Mo. I'm the bule. I'm the guaylo. It doesn't matter. But
guaylo.
For example, when I was in Australia for uni, or when I used to go to Canada to visit friends over there, when I went back with my now ex, but with her there, all her friends, people in uni, which at that time when I was in Australia, saw me as Asian. So I was the Asian guy.
Okay. So
Oh, you're the Asian
interesting.
guy.
That's
Oh,
very
from
interesting.
Singapore. Oh, yeah. I'm like, well,
But
I'm
this thing-
half Chinese,
yeah.
half English, and they're like, yeah, but you're from Singapore and you're Asian. I'm like,
Interesting.
yeah, okay, I'm technically Singaporean, yes, and if you want to go by ethnicity, I'm half Asian. So this is another question. Someone kept asking me last weekend. It's like, oh, so where you from? I'm like, Singapore. No, okay, but where you from? I'm like, from Singapore. They're like, no, but you don't look like you're from here. I'm like, well, I'm sure there's a lot of people that don't look like they're from here, but I was born here. This is home. I'm a Singapore citizen. So when you ask where I'm from, I'm from Singapore. They're like, no, but your look. And I'm like, okay, are you? So I had to clarify with them. I said, are you trying to ask what's my mix? What's my ethnicity? What what's my parentage? They're like, oh yes, this question. I'm like, well, that's not where you are from. That's what's your mix? What's your parentage? And then I have to say, well, my mom's Chinese, Peranakan, my dad's British, and that's my mix.
You must say I
English,
serve
half
NS.
Chinese. Yeah.
If you say I serve NS, okay,
Well,
you're Singaporean.
these people were not from Singapore. They were
Okay.
exchange students studying their exchange here for the next semester at NUS, SMU, NTU. So there was a big party, and I met them. So they were trying to, because everyone's asking where everyone is from. And they thought maybe I was some guy from somewhere coming for uni too. I'm like, no, I'm an older guy that's from Singapore. This is my home. So I'm here to support my friend because this is his event. This is his party. But like I said, it's funny how people go down that line of questioning.
Yeah.
They're trying to ask a question and they think it's... They think in their head that's the way to ask the question to find out the answer, but I'm like, no.
They
You're asking there's two totally different things that you're asking.
One thing about me as well, like I want to try to formulate a question. You just can't pick the right words. I don't know. Maybe we are just not eloquent when it comes to grammar.
I
or
just think
English.
I think it's just a psychological more mistake. Like you said, they see me and they
they
ask the question of where I'm from, and they're
stereotype.
well, they're expecting Australia or England or Canada or America or whatever. They're expecting a Caucasian country. And when I say Singapore, they're like, what? No.
Kandang Kerbau Hospital. Which hospital were you from?
I was born in Mount E. I'm a Mount E boy.
You have to explain. No, I was like born in Singapore. You have to understand that.
I think my generation was one of the first kind of generations of getting the multicultural, multi-race, multi-ethnic kind of children. I like to think that we were that generation that
Pioneer.
Yeah, kind of pioneer, but we also that generation that went from analog to digital.
Yeah.
So we grew up, I grew up being outdoors a lot.
Internet
just came out when I was like, what, 13, 12,
LimeWire,
13, 14, 15, yeah.
Friendster and all that,
MSN,
whatever.
And what was the other one?
MySpace or whatever.
Yeah, MySpace. And what was the other talking one? ICQ,
and
all that. So that was like the first kind of run-ins for that kind of stuff. And like I said, we didn't have social media, and when we had to like research for things, we literally had to go to the library to like look through books. I mean, it's kind of easy now in that sense, but we were lucky that I still always say this to everyone. We went from analog to digital, and I think we were very lucky in that sense.
Yeah. One stereotype that I have in mind, you might want to debunk this, that Asian girls chick guys like you. Maybe it's easy for you to get your number or something.
I wanna say that it's all types of girls. not just Asian girls, because again, same thing.
Yeah.
I'm half.
Half, yeah.
So I'm always exotic to the other side.
That's right.
You know, except for the people who kind of grew up knowing our in an international environment.
It helps that you're a very good-looking man.
Well, thank you very much.
The tattoo and all that, and coupled with your ethnicity, it must be such a plus.
Yeah, I think it just works. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I say I'm very lucky. I've always, but as I said, it's a blessing and a curse because I'm always in that limbo. No matter where I am, I'm always thought to be the opposite of what it is, and obviously, on occasion, you get the people who are a little bit more international and they kind of know, like, oh, I know this guy. This guy's mixed. This guy's Eurasian or Pan-Asian, so they get it. But it's one of those things. You just gotta roll with it. You gotta embrace. You gotta embrace who you are, right? There's no point trying to be something that you're not. And I've always said that the easiest thing to do is to be yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Getting into work and all that, since we are talking on the subject of work, I noticed you have a very obvious sleeve on your tattoos.
Oh.
Yeah, tattoos. I'm very surprised you have this, considering your line of work, you're an MC and you act.
Yeah.
I don't know whether this is a hindrance or...
It can be one or the other. Well, listen, I'm older now. I've been in the industry since 2002.
You've built a name for yourself.
Yeah, in a sense.
You wouldn't have done this
at the very
starting
beginning,
out,
so to speak. But I wouldn't have done this not because of my career or my job.
Yeah, it's a personal
or my
choice.
Work. I didn't do it early on because I wasn't old enough to tell the story. I mean, all my
it has to
tattoos,
mean something, right?
they all mean something.
Yeah.
It's all a tribute to my father, and then it's all a tribute to my family.
Yeah.
So it just took many years to A, live my life, to then want to build the elements, and B, meet the right people that can do this. So over the years, I've met a lot of tattoo artists that I all of a sudden found when I see their work, I'm like, wow, this guy could do.
Yeah.
I could imagine him doing what I wanted to tell my story. And you know, these guys are all fantastic. They're all from Singapore, with the exception of one tattoo artist who's from Bali. But we've all become very good friends. And the first few tattoo artists I had were friends I knew, and then subsequently, then I got to know more about the community, and I met more of the other guys around, and then
Different people have their
exactly.
own different interpretation.
That's right. And when they
Yeah.
are able to put on my skin the story that I want to tell, it's amazing. And then become very close friends. We all become brothers because they put something on me that means so much.
Yeah, yeah,
And we
because
spent
they're a part
hours
of you.
and hours and hours on
Yeah,
end
you're
sitting
right.
down and talking and getting to know each other. And like I said, I will forever be now connected with them as an artist, as a friend, because they've helped me tell the story. When it comes back to work, yes, in a way, this has only been the last 3 years.
It's quite new.
I started slowly in places where, obviously, when you wear a t-shirt, it's covered. And I did one show where they actually covered my shoulder tattoo and my chest tattoo at that time only with makeup. And it was great makeup. You couldn't tell there was anything there. It was fantastic. And I realized, if they can do that,
Yeah.
then I'm safe.
Yeah.
Because either I wear baju, I wear a long sleeve shirt, a cardigan, or a jacket, which again for the corporate kind of gigs that I have to do, that's exactly what it is anyways. And if not, and they want to cover it up, they will. So either way, I felt it wasn't an issue. And I don't let my job define me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes, it's a career, and of course I depend on it to make my living and obviously live my life. But I will never let something stop me from being who I am and do what I want to do.
That's
and
interesting.
all these mean something to me, and they mean something very dear to me. So I wanted to tell a story. I wanted to wear my heart on my sleeve, just like that. I wanted people to see that I'm more than just that actor on TV or that host on stage, and
It tells a lot about you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about a character, about again a story, and in a way also I wanted to break the mold. I wanted to break the mold of I like being different.
The perception has changed over time as well.
Definitely, because now
Yeah.
it's deemed as art. Back in the day, yes, there was a connotation where it was more maybe associated with
Gangster.
the underworld. Yes,
Yeah, but
right?
now it's more of creativity.
Correct. And the world has changed.
Personality, yeah,
And
yeah.
I wanted to show that, it doesn't matter who you are or what you do. If you have something that you want to show and have on you, and it's meaningful, you shouldn't be judged for it.
The among freaks out when you show her the
Yeah, mom was a
tattoo.
little bit like, oh my gosh, she's always telling me to stop. But when I tell her what the stories are, like how it's all for my dad and for her and for my family, then it makes it easier
makes
for her to
sense.
accept, I
Yeah.
think. And again, I've been very, very fortunate that I've been established enough that I have wonderful clients
People
that still
won't-
accept me
Yeah.
and still allow me to do what I do, because I really do feel I'm honest and I'm good at my job. That's something that I will hold to a very high standard for me. So if you really don't think I'm doing my job well because
Of your tattoos.
well, yeah, that's not
Yeah,
true. It's
don't-
not because of that. And again, I'm telling a story for my family, and for me, that's
more important.
very important. Yes,
Yeah.
that's very important. I mean, back in the day, it's the same thing with all my piercings.
Mhm,
I
yeah.
was one of the first guys in the scene when it came to acting and hosting. That
Who are some of
had
the guys who
piercings.
started out with you? Maybe Art doing something.
Art actually is a little bit before my time, even
Okay. Well,
slightly.
he's a senior of some sort.
Some sort. He
Okay.
was already in the scene when he was a bit younger, and it was
Mhm.
when I was still growing up in that sense. And it's funny because I would watch a lot of, say for example, I grew up watching, let's say for example, Under One Roof, Gurmit Singh, Pierre Peng, Irene Ang. I grew up watching that as a teenager. So I watched on TV, and then it's weird to think that you fast forward 12 years later or whatever it was, I actually started to work with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's surreal.
It's funny you say that.
And they're all fantastic.
Yeah.
They're all awesome
doing the
people.
podcast is the same thing.
Yes, we're all normal people.
Yeah.
We're all normal people just
Yeah.
doing a job where
Doing
we
this
appear more in the
human,
limelight.
more human,
all right?
yeah.
And people recognize us and watch us do more things, and we have that connection more in that sense. So excuse the traffic if you're listening to us. We're actually doing the podcast out in public, out in the open, because we wanted to be a bit more real.
We may or may not
Have that in.
Get kicked out. That's where we are.
I think everyone has a story, and everyone was always like, "Oh, you're famous. What's it like about that?" I'm like, "Look, man, that's a strong word. I'm not famous. I'm recognized. I love my job.
Celebrities, is that
yeah,
the term?
these are all big words, but I keep telling everyone, no, I'm the same person. I haven't changed. I've just grown up a bit more, and maybe I've been able to do a job that I guess a lot of people maybe want to do or wish they could do, but that goes in so many different ways.
Because you've been doing it for 10 years, so opportunities that you get
it's
may
there.
not be
Yeah.
may not be afforded to
others to a certain
for-
extent. And I
yeah.
totally get it. I know that we lead by example, and we can influence a lot, and I appreciate that standpoint, and I embrace it. But we are all the same, right? I'm just like an everyday person getting up to do my job, but I just said my job is just a little bit different in that sense.
Yep.
And again, I embrace that, and that's why I love to do a lot of volunteering and charity work where I can, because the ripple I noticed a while back, actually, in fact, 2010 was the year I actually realized that my ripple effect for what I was doing was starting to expand
It's
and
more
extend
obvious, is it?
more. Yeah. That was a very big year where I did
That's
a
more
lot of
rewarding.
charity.
Yeah.
My career was starting to lift off in a sense. It was even pre-social media, for example, back then in 2010. So, but I did notice. I noticed that there was a change coming, and I was like, wow, okay, this is now, like I said, I'm responsible. That people are really looking at what we do, and I wanted to be a positive.
Make an
Yeah,
impact.
yeah. I wanted to be an ambassador of change. I wanted to be positive. I wanted to do things that when people see me do, they're like, oh, cool. Like I want to help. I want to do that. I want to inspire.
You have your own opportunity to make a dent in the universe.
That's right. That's right. And hopefully the dent is a good dent.
That's a good dent. That's right. Going into what you do for a living. So for me, all my life I've always been employed by a company.
Mm-hmm.
I'm no longer working with Vanda. For people who listen to my podcast, I started out my podcast when I was in Vanda,
Yes.
and now I'm no longer in Vanda. But that's alright. That's neither here.
That's
neither here nor there.
That's the past now.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the past.
Yes.
So the point I'm trying to get is that it's very hard for me to comprehend the idea of being a freelance because it's not secure.
Good.
So
question.
Well, my question to you is that doing something in your line, especially starting out, right now after 10 years of experience, it's another day at work.
Yes.
But when you're starting out, do you think to yourself, will I be able to do this 10 years down the road?
Yep.
Some of the mistakes that you made.
Yep. So I think I was kind of already picking up where you were going towards. That's why I said good question very early. And okay, by nature, I like to be quite a organized guy that can plan
Playing
things
safe.
out. Not necessarily playing safe, just being organized, being efficient, being able to plan things. But at the same token, because I'm a freelance and because my work is so ad hoc, that in a way also I have to be very adaptive to my job. I'm also very lucky that my job doesn't mean I'm just going to the same thing, the same office every day for the same number of hours. Like I love my job. I mean, I can be going to like 3 to 6 to 7 different locations a day depending on what I'm doing.
You could be holding the mic for for the company.
That's it. I'm doing all sorts. I'm always, and that's the thing, being adaptive and being versatile. So over time, I was learning that that's the way to do it. When I was early on, the stresses were obviously when you're not working as a freelance, you're not making any money.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, it's very difficult.
Was it like memorizing lines or the feel of the camera? Stage fright?
No, I've always been quite okay with that kind of stuff.
Okay,
And I
very
guess
confident.
as you do more and you
know what you sign up for. Because
yeah,
it's your
you
job.
find yourself. You start to figure out your style. You start to find yourself and do your thing. So that's totally fine. I don't think I've ever really had an issue in that. Obviously, you get better. You get better at what you do. And when you get better at what you do, obviously you get more comfortable and more confident. So that's okay. The difficult part was, like I said, at the beginning,
adapting
to not working enough, I guess, and not getting paid. And because with the freelance ad hoc nature of the job, you don't really know how much you're gonna make every month. So you could have an amazing month where you absolutely killed it, but then you could not work for 2 months straight or very little. So what you made in that first month kind of has to cover the next 2 months in a way. So it's that you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And this is how it was at the beginning, striving, struggling, working on your craft, networking, keep doing what you're doing, hustling, taking whatever jobs you can, meeting the right people, and just keep going and going and going. So the struggle is there. But once you break out of that struggle, and if you can go through these hard, difficult times, it only makes you a better person. It only makes you a stronger person. So for me, I always look back and realize I'm very grateful that I had to work really hard and struggle through that period in order to be grateful for what I have now.
Yeah.
And I've been hungry. I've been, demoralized in a way. I've been in those places where I'm like, man, is this gonna work? Do I have to find another job, or do I have to do something else to earn a salary, or do I just continue what I'm doing? And again, look, I've had a few lucky breaks. I've taken the opportunities that were given to me. A door opens, you walk in and you do it, and then that leads to another door, which leads to another door. And I think genuinely, if you work hard and you hustle, you're a good person, and you establish relationships,
People will see that.
yeah, it will happen. I think the universe sees what you put out, and you get it back.
Will help along the
Yeah,
way.
so life is not supposed to be easy.
You're
Life, there's always going to be ups and downs. It's just a matter of how well you ride the ups. Everything comes in waves, and also how well you ride out the downs. Like when it slows down and things aren't going well, how do you adjust to that? How do you keep going and keep persevering, like you just said, and hustle to get the next thing? I always believe, don't sit back and wait for things to come to you.
Make
Go
the
out there and do it.
opportunity
Yeah,
happen.
go and get those opportunities. See the signs, meet the people, do the right things, and just keep going and moving forward and striving. Keep trying to do more. Keep trying to get better. Keep going. Don't look back.
Is there any particular incident, a big mistake that you made you very demoralized that you can share?
No, because if you make a mistake in front of camera, director just says cut, and then you retake.
You did a lot of live events.
Yeah.
So you may have said
So live,
something.
okay, so live would be a little bit more different because live is live. You don't get a repeat. But I also learned very quickly that there's a couple of things I learned being a host on stage for live events. So have this adaptive nature to go with the flow and react to the situation. Always be ready to react because you never know what's going to happen. Over the years, for every event I've done, and I can tell you honestly right now, we have never ever done an event where it went 100% correct, smoothly, no
Bumps and
no nothing.
problems is
Confirm there's
inevitable.
something. It's how you adapt to those situations to just keep going and
make sure the event goes as smooth as possible.
that's right. And you have to portray a sense of being in control and just maybe being lighthearted and going with it, because that's what the people see. If it's chaos behind closed doors, let the chaos happen behind. You don't need to show your guests. You don't need to show anyone that's watching the show. But at the same token, like I said, nothing is ever completely going to go to
Smooth,
plan.
yeah.
So you just have to kind of ride with it. You adapt with it. And I also know that when I'm on stage doing my job, I look at the crowd and I do my thing, and you know what? There's probably
You're in sync.
there's in sync, yes, but or sometimes you're a little bit off sync, but you just go with it. You have great days, you have good days, you have not so good days. I don't think I've ever really had a bad day, which is good for me, lucky, thank goodness.
But was there any part of your time in your life you realize that, I'm very comfortable now?
Look, I've always been kind of comfortable with myself, and I think that's also what's helped me a lot. My whole point again was saying, I was just about to round off with saying, when I do my job on stage and I look at the crowd, there's probably less than 5%, maybe 2% of our entire whole crowd, like maybe a handful of people that would be able to do what I do on stage.
Alright.
So when I think about it that way, I said, so I'm doing the best
That you
to
can.
my ability
Yeah.
on stage, and you know what? If you think you can do a better job, you can come.
Come
why
on
don't you
stage
come
and
and
do
do
it.
it? Exactly. So I like to think of it that way. Like, and again, I'm very comfortable myself. I know how to hold my own. I think when it comes to any work you do, you just must be prepared. You must be prepared to do the job, and I think if you're prepared and comfortable, you can do anything. It's all about training, right? You're always training to be better at what you are, and the more experience you have in life and the more experience you have at what you do,
more comfortable you
the
get.
more comfortable and confident you are. So again, I've been very lucky in that sense. I enjoy my work so much. It's crazy how much I really enjoy my work, and again, I really I'm very grateful.
blessed,
I'm very
yeah.
I'm very grateful. That's the one thing.
You have a lot of co-stars
Mm.
like Kelly Latimer, Victoria Cheng. Shout out to both of them.
Yes.
Yeah, I
The
want
good
them-
girls.
Yeah. Was there any particular host that you felt that you had the most fun working with?
Oh wow.
That made a big impression
Yeah,
on you.
me. You know, again, I've been very fortunate that the
Gurmit Singh, probably, I know.
yeah.
You work-
So the community we work with here, when we work together,
Very
I mean,
small,
we're,
right?
yeah, it is small.
Everyone knows each other.
Everyone knows each other, so a lot of us are friends off stage and off screen as well, or we at least get to know each other a little bit more. You know, I've been very fortunate to work with a lot of professionals that are awesome. And that's the whole thing. It's about being very comfortable with your co-host, and working with a co-host is cool because you just bounce off each other. And if you're just a normal person that's quite friendly and pretty good, and we're both good at our jobs, it's very easy to bounce. It's very easy to just keep going.
Yeah,
So,
connecting.
you know, I've been very, very fortunate to work with like Yvette King, May and Choi, Kelly, Victoria. Like I said, so many people I work with. I mean, mostly girls because usually they match up. Co-host usually
Yeah.
is a male and a female,
Yeah.
you know. But not to say that I've never worked with some of the other guys as well. And Gurmit Singh was a perfect example of someone who, I mean, he's like a legend.
Yeah.
He's been around a long time. He is very good at what he does.
Just watching him work is easy to pick his brain.
It's very easy.
Yeah.
He's the man.
He's the
you know?
master.
Yeah. So I really, really got to work with him for the first time officially for last year's Present Star charity. And he was such a liao chow for that one that it was like super easy just rolling with him. There was 4 of us obviously, and we were rotating between the 4 of us, but you could tell, because the good thing about that was that was a live event. So the Present Star charity is complete live telecast. And we did have some technical issues. So it's a matter of how you adjust to technical issues on live TV as well as a live audience and event, especially with Madam President there also, you know. So it's a very prestigious event. It's very big. It's very live. But like I said, you just have to go with it. And Gurmit is an expert at doing that because it's not his first rodeo for especially for the Present Star charity. I performed with him before. We've done like a parkour performance before, but I've danced for Present Star charity. I've sang, but that was my first time hosting it. Hosted a couple of segments, but that was my first time being one of the hosts for the main entire show. And that was a great experience because that was my first live telecast show, which is again different because you are
Exciting.
constantly, your monitors in your ear, you have to go according to the director, you have to go with the cameras, you have to go with the live performances, you got your links, you're doing your bits here, and so there's a lot to take on, but that's the thrill of it. That's the fun of it. Being able to like do everything at one time and adapting to a job and doing your best at it. So again, I've been very lucky. All the people I've pretty much worked with who in the real professional level are simply amazing. That's not just for the hosting, that's even just for the acting as well. Like I said, working with Adrian Pang. My first 2 dramas I did, Red Thread and Polo Boys, I mean, working with such a fantastic cast, but for example, my first 2 dramas I got to work with Adrian Pang.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, like another legend, you know?
Yeah.
And how lucky was I to work with someone at that level on my first 2? And I had to learn so much in my first drama. So much about acting, about camera angles, about blocking, about lighting, about sound, about wardrobe, about Conti.
It's a lot.
There's a lot. My acting may not have been, it probably wasn't that great then.
Sometimes
you know?
you do it for so long, it becomes a second. It's like muscle memory.
No,
you get more used to it.
Acting's funny. Acting is not really acting. You're not supposed to look like you're acting.
You are the character.
Correct.
Yeah.
You
Heath
have to
Ledger,
become. You have to
like Heath
become the character. The character becomes you. It's a feeling. So it's not like you have to pretend to feel this way or act this way. It's the beautiful
to
thing about
be,
acting is
yeah.
you have to be. Yeah, you have to be. So, and that takes time. That takes again finding how comfortable you can be in your skin but portraying another character. So being someone else, are you able to do it? Are you able to? And I think it's the more you live life and the more you experience, whether it's love or pain or the good times, the bad times, the everything, every emotion. If you feel it and you know it, it's very easy to bring that feeling back up and emotion back up to then bring it out. So you're not really acting it.
Yeah.
You're just bringing it up
Yeah,
from
it's just
somewhere that you
natural.
have.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's
natural
there.
to you.
Acting is not easy, and you can tell who are the really amazing actors who do it because
Yeah.
you can see
Yeah.
they're not acting.
The caliber of difference.
They have become that
Mm,
person.
that person.
Yes.
How did you learn how to act?
We used to do a lot of home movies back in the day growing up. In fact, my friend who I caught up with lunch with earlier, who said, "Oh man, we we're having a chat because of catching up. And he's, man, we should do a podcast, bro. And I was like, that's really weird because I'm actually just about to meet someone to record a podcast. Uncanny. Shout out to Ken, my oldest friend. And we used to make a lot of home videos back in the day.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, and I think also the same thing, just doing things and having fun. And I learned over time as well, when it comes to acting, like it's like 20 people on set watching you in a way.
Just be lost in the universe.
Yeah, you have to like kind of be like, okay, I'm trying to be this other person and I need to act, or I need to communicate with this other character. We need to go here and go there. We need to get to a different level. And I think just the more you do and the more you experience in life, I don't want to say it becomes easier because that's making it very trivial, but I think you're able to connect more. Yeah.
Would you also agree that because acting, the fun part is that besides playing a character, it's also an extension of yourself.
Yes.
So you're not...
Well, yes and no.
You have a bit of essence of you in that character.
To a certain extent, you're right.
Getting into that character, you're still using your life experience.
Yeah, I guess so, but I mean, I guess the flip side of that, and my counter argument is I've had to play a lot of bad guy roles. But I'm not a bad guy. I don't consider myself the asshole.
The villain.
The villain, yeah. But how I learned how to deal with that is deep down inside, actually, it's much easier for humans to be bad people.
Yeah.
I believe.
I agree.
I believe. It takes more energy to be a good person. I believe. And because, we all wake up on the wrong side of the bed. We can all be in bad moods. And it's funny that when we're in those kind of moods, like, you can't help it. Yeah.
Channeling your frustration.
You can't help it, right? You're there. But you can flip that bad mood or waking up on the wrong side of the bed by trying to say, no, you know what? I know I'm not gonna be an asshole. I'm not gonna take it out on this waiter, for example, or the taxi uncle, the hawker auntie. Like, you don't take it out on other people.
Yeah.
That's very rude.
Yeah.
But some people are like that. Some people
whether you act on it.
Yes, correct. You decide to
draw
keep
the
it down
line,
and you still be nice. So, but the thing is, when I play all the bad guy roles, man, it is very therapeutic. It is super.
Let it out.
You get all this negative energy out. You get all this frustration, this anger, this everything. And when the director calls cut, and everyone's like, "Whoa, dude,
so sorry."
Awesome!" No, they're like, "Awesome job, man. That was fucking great." And I'm like, "Wow, I was just an asshole, and I got told I did a good job at being an asshole." Like, that's pretty cool. It's like I said, it's very therapeutic. So I'm lucky in that sense
like
too. When I get
you
those
can commit
roles.
murder, but you don't go to jail for it.
That's it. For example.
Okay, your portfolio is quite extensive. What projects do you feel like you want to undertake that
Wow.
you haven't had the opportunity to do?
Oh, good question. I like to do more feature films if possible, and I think that industry is definitely growing now for Singapore. For example, Crazy Rich Asians might provide a lot of opportunity for...
Shout out to Fiona Xie.
Yeah, Fiona, Pierre,
Pierre Peng,
Amy, Henry, Victoria, Janice. Like, we got a group of people from Singapore that is representing us. There's a whole bunch of other people that are being quite negative, like, oh, they could have been more Asian, they could have taken someone from like China or whatever, or blah 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 and all that stuff. But
I feel like that's the immediate response. People
that's
complain to everything.
But if you read the book, I think like the characters really fit. The characters that they got really fit the characters in the book, which obviously you need to portray on screen now.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, and everyone's like, "Hey, how come you didn't get a role? They could have used you." Blah blah. I said, "Well, they have their reasons. It's okay." And I look at the positive of now by all these actors going and doing this film, it should create opportunities for us, or at least the doors open now. Whether or not we are able to walk through them or we get booked for anything, at least now Singapore's on the radar.
Yeah.
And for all we know, it could provide a lot of opportunities because there is a lot of work coming out to Asia as well. I mean, it took a while for the rest of the world, like for Hollywood, for example, in this scenario, to realize, actually, we should focus on Asia because
there's a market there.
more than half the world's population is in Asia.
That's right.
And that's just film and industry. How about all the other industries and businesses and everything? They're starting to realize that, hey, we can come out to Asia and hit this untapped market that is starting to now develop, starting to move ahead, starting to have a little bit more of a disposable income and affordability, and they want to do things. So now the market's opening up and a lot of people are coming out to Asia to seek these opportunities. So I think it's all positive. I think it's good. So feature films will be one thing, back to your question on wanting to do more of, but also just really positive, influential jobs too, like my current show that will travel series that will end next Monday, Special Delivery. It was the first real hosting travel adventure show that I'm doing that had a mission, a feel-good positive mission, where all the hosts were delivering a payload to a community somewhere far away, somewhere displaced, somewhere very, very difficult to reach, in order to help them build a sustainable business or electrify an entire village or medical supplies, in a war-torn city. We're doing our job, but we're doing our job as a
Helping
host.
society.
But helping, giving back, which is what I try to do a lot of anyways. But it's like, this is the first time it was a commission travel show where we were really able to affect this kind of influence and change and this affirmative action of helping other people. And if we get more jobs like that, that'd be fantastic. I'm hoping we get a season 2, because the first season was truly, truly amazing. By far one of my all-time favorite jobs. It was hard work too. It was legitly hard work. We were really going on a delivery. I did Nepal, I did Ladakh, I did the jungles in Pahang, I did the islands out in Sabah. So the journeys are all quite extensive. It takes a lot of effort, but they're real. They're gritty. They mean something. And like I said, it's just giving back and helping people, I think, is amazing. So the fact that we got to do it as a host and we filmed it to show people, it's inspiring. It's quite inspiring, and people have said it, and that's what I want. I wanna lead by example. I wanna make
an
people
impact.
Make an impact and make people be
Life-
better versions of
better.
themselves. And to help. And we are all very lucky. I mean, there's always people who are like, oh man, I wish I had this, I wish I had that, but here we are living
We are more fortunate
every day.
than we think.
We wake up every day, we're healthy. We wake up every day with a roof over our heads. We eat 3 meals a day.
No natural disasters.
That's it. I just came back from a house build in Krabi with Habitat for Humanity, one of my organizations that I'm an ambassador for, Habitat for Humanity Singapore. And I brought a team up there of 13 volunteers with me, 15 overall, and we built a home for a family in Thailand in 3 days. A home, one of the basic needs in life, shelter, a safe environment to live in, to sleep in, to keep warm, to be in that loving environment. Everyone deserves a home. So to think that it's still in this day and age that there's people that don't have a roof over their heads or safe 4 walls around them, it's quite sad. It's very sad. So if we're able to help, that's a good thing. And like I said, people always take for granted what they have. It's until you see other people what they don't have that makes you appreciate sometimes what we have already.
Getting to know you a little bit, I just want to know, what are you passionate about? Are you a UFC fan, combat sports fan?
Yeah. I love UFC. I do. I love when the MMA game started to really get a global presence. I remember watching the UFC for the first time when I was working in Manila, in Philippines.
Ronda Rousey
back
wasn't even a thing.
Yeah, no. There was like Rich Franklin, and it was that group then, and Ben Henderson. I love sports. I've grown up being a sportsman, an athlete, and a sports fan. So basketball and rugby were my main sports in school. I've represented Singapore for national rugby. Of course, then injuries happened, and I couldn't continue pursuing that career. Could have kept playing, and I tried to make a comeback last year, and I got injured again. It's just too difficult. But I love sports. Sports is a passion of mine, as well as health and fitness. I mean, my degree from uni is sports coaching admin. So that's I've always been connected to that. I've always been
you're still
active.
young. You who knows? 8 years down the line, you could be a coach for rugby. I don't know, maybe.
If I want to, and that's always been the plan. I can do that as a passion more than a career. I mean, last year I played netball for the men's Singapore team, so unsanctioned, but technically I'm a dual international, having represented Singapore in 2 different sports at senior level, which is kind of cool. When I got injured in rugby, I started to play mixed netball and just I love to go to the gym and CrossFit and keep fit that way and do that just to keep healthy. But I love my food, and growing up I ate a lot. I ate a lot of food. My metabolic rate was super high. My mom is a fantastic cook.
But you were never fat or anything, right?
Not really. I was always active. Yeah, and it gets harder to maintain as we get older. But I used to train so much and so hard because I used to eat a lot. My calorie intake was very high. I used to eat everything. So I was very active. That was like, rugby training 4 times a week, and the gym and the games in the season. So I was doing 6 days a week of full-on training and all that. So that was fantastic. But food is a big part of my life. Very passionate about that.
What's your favorite food?
Too many, man. I'm a big fan of all the local food. In Singapore, we're so lucky we have so much local food. I mean, nasi biryani and the nasi padangs, but also like the carrot cake and the chicken rice and chashu rice and the mirabus and you know, basically anything and everything that I can eat in that realm, I would. On the flip side, I mean, I love Mexican food. I love Japanese food. I love just pure Chinese food. I love my burgers. I love pizza.
Whatever that tastes
You
good.
know, yeah. I grew up not worrying about eating exactly what I wanted whenever I wanted. You know, so it's never been an issue for me in that sense. I love to travel. I used to travel a lot growing up. I was very lucky that my father took us all around the world when he was alive, and we did a lot of family vacations, and we were able to really enjoy seeing the world. And I think that's transferred across to what I do now on my own when I can afford it, but also for my job. I'm very lucky that my job sometimes also takes me to wonderful places, and again, I'm so grateful for it. And then I guess other passions would be just friends and family, but at the same time, my alone time.
You're single now, so
I'm single now, but I do enjoy being alone. You know,
Yeah.
I give a lot of my energy out to people in general, whether it's for work or in general when I'm just out.
Social
You
life.
know, socializing. So there are a lot of times I just like to chill and be on my own and recharge, and I have no issues with that. I have no issues also eating on my own. Like, you know, there's some people like, oh no, I can never eat a meal on my own. It's like, wow, it's terrible. But I'm like, what's the problem? You're just eating, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, me in a nutshell, bro, I'm pretty easygoing. I'm very easy to please. I'm very happy. I'm very grateful. I don't need much. You know, I'm almost less is best, and I want to give as much out as I can, help as much as I can when it comes to people, when it comes to animals. You know, actually, I'm hosting an event this coming Saturday, the Best Friends Animal Adoption Day, in conjunction with the Singapore Zoo.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
So much different
Yeah.
array of stuff that you
I
do.
have to, because I help the Animal Lovers League a lot, which is Singapore's biggest no-kill shelter. But this weekend also we have Save Our Street Dogs, SOSD. We have Action for Dogs, Singapore Dogs. We have Cat Welfare Society. We have Oscars. We have Noah's Ark. We have SPCA. We've got 7 animal welfare groups coming on board at the event, and we're trying to talk about responsible pet ownership and adoption. Because all the animal welfare groups and shelters have had to move to the new government facility because the government taken over the land, especially at Pasir Ris Farmway.
Mm-hmm.
So they've all had to move. So everyone now is under one roof in a government facility up in Sungai Buloh. So we're trying to create a little bit more of an awareness and educate people and about adopting and that there's so many beautiful animals that you can adopt for free. And, you know, I adopted my cat Jewel from the shelter, and she's beautiful. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I went in, I met her, but she found me, and, you know, adopted her, and now she's got a forever home with us. But everyone can do that if they wanted to have a pet.
Just final words for people who have been supporting you
Yeah.
on social media.
Oh,
maybe your fans or the ladies especially.
Well, look, man, I've got a good mix of supporters, and I don't want to harp on this word grateful. I think I've used it quite a lot talking to you today, but I am. I'm so fortunate. Truly am. I'm grateful that I'm able to do what I can do, and of course to the people that support me, fans or not, just general people, friends, family, fans, you name it. Like, it means a lot. It means a lot, and I think one of the most recent things that happened that really exemplified this was, again, my recent breakup, which was very hard. And it was a very difficult decision we had to make, but mutually we decided that it was probably the best decision that we could do as Jenna embarks on her new life back home in Canada, and I continue my life and my career right here in Singapore. We were very open about it. I was very public in a way because I wanted to really share that in life there's always ups and downs. You will get hurt. You will get your heart broken. Like a lot of my stuff, we always show a lot of the good things, but it's not always about that. But you can still see the silver lining in everything. That you can still make a positive out of a negative. You can still push on through, and you can get stronger. You will get stronger. We are all human. We will all break down at some point. We will all get hurt. But how you move forward from that is very important. And I found that a lot of people, not just my friends were reaching out to me as you would expect, but people, like you said, random people were just messaging me to say, hey, I want to let you know, like, I see that you're going through a hard time, and I want to let you know that also I've been going through a hard time, but it was so nice to see how mature and positive you've been about it, and it was very inspirational. So I wasn't expecting that. People were actually reaching out to me to say, thank you for sharing your pain, but making it in such a positive way that now it inspires me to feel better and get up and motivate myself to move on. And for me, that was really important. It blew me away. I wasn't expecting that, and I wasn't crying out for help, but I just wanted to really just get out there to show people that, sometimes
if it helps one person, you would have done your
done
job.
something. Yeah. But I really wasn't expecting that return in that sense, and I think that meant a lot to a lot of people. And I want to tell people to stay positive, to enjoy your life, to be good, and what you do out, what you give out to the universe will come back to you. So just keep positive, keep looking on the good side of things, and be kind to each other. Yeah.
All this while, people, when they think of Paul Foster, like, oh, that guy that gets to travel for a living, do what he loves. But through this podcast, you provided us with another layer of yourself, a depth to your character. So it's very interesting to see an insight of your life. One day at a time, you help make the world a better place. And hopefully people who get to see your work inspired to do the same.
I can only hope so, my friend. And thank you for
giving the voice.
Yeah, giving me an opportunity to have a chat with you. And I hope that everyone takes something from our chat today.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
If you do that podcast, you make sure to have me in your podcast as well.
Yes, of course.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.